Good people, back in the building. Saturday Football Showdown, Sports Wave Network. It's your boy, Cool McCain, and I'm joined on my side by this guy, Mr. Livewire Sports Media himself. What up, Martin?
What's going on, man? Back to another full college football Saturday slate again, man. I'm
Yeah.
ready for it.
Oh, yeah. So, our first show of the season. So, a couple of things we got to go over with everybody just so they aware of all the things that have changed from last year because of the playoffs.
Hmm.
So, first, we might as well talk about the 12-team college football playoff, the format, how the rankings go, all these good things, because it's very different from what we had last year and every year before that. And
Hmm.
moving forward, unless we add more teams, this is what we're going to get. So, first thing is everybody cried, complained, they wanted more teams in, blah, blah, blah. We went straight from 4 to 12. So, a lot of people should be happier, but we already know whatever team is outside the top 12, the 13, 14, 15, they fans going to still be complaining. The university will still be complaining. We
Yeah,
had 25 teams in, 26, 27, 28 going to complain. It's just what it is.
yeah.
This at least gives more teams an opportunity. So, first thing, the 12 participating teams will be the 5 conference champions ranked highest by the College Football Selection Committee, plus the next 7 highest ranked teams. So, what that means is you've got your Power Four, which are probably going to be your 4 highest ranked conference champions. No matter how big or small the conference,
Hmm.
whatever is the next highest ranked um, conference champion is going to get in. So let's say the next highest ranked conference champion is ranked 24. They're automatically going to be 12th. Let's say they're
Hmm.
ranked 7th. They're going to be 7th. The rankings of the teams will still continue to be done by a selection committee, right? So essentially, the way that works is your 4 highest conference champions will be seeded 1 through 4, and they'll all get a first round bye. So if you listen to this wording, if you're Notre Dame without a conference, you cannot be top 4
Yeah.
because you can't be a conference champion if you don't have a conference.
And see, that's why I kept saying Notre Dame is going to continue to hurt themselves if they don't be a part. To me, I feel like it'd be addictive to them just to go ahead and either line themselves with the Big Ten or line themselves with the ACC like they did last year, and then you able to get in. You know what I'm saying? Say Miami wins the conference and you're the next highest under Miami, you able to get in because you then you'll be ranked. But with them, it's always going to be an uphill battle because they want to keep the independence because of their TV deal, their money wise. But even if, say, if they did expand the playoff again to 2 more teams to 14, then you're still gonna have other teams vying for that two spots, and Notre Dame's still gonna always gonna be on the outside looking in. That's why I say they need to figure out how they gonna work their TV deal with a conference, and then just join the conference, and then you be in because no matter what, you're gonna end up always gonna be on the outside looking in.
Yeah, so I would just say they pretty much half are already in the ACC. I mean, all the other sports at ACC
Yeah,
play ACC half of the schedule anyway. Might well go and join the ACC. Um,
exactly.
I think money is an issue. Maybe the new TV deal, if because what I'm hearing is that Florida State is suing for the option to leave to force ESPN and the ACC, if they win, to renegotiate the deal so the schools can get more money. They're not necessarily attempting to lead a conference,
They just
but
want more money.
make it to where everyone gets more money. But Notre Dame, I think, would help that even if they were to keep their deal. If I were the ACC, I would say, look, you have the deal there. How many games is that? Whatever that is, we'll let you keep that. Do your thing with that. That's your money.
Yeah.
for your, because I think it's home games or whatever, however many games that you decide that they need to play to kind of contractually fulfill that. All the other ACC and non-ACC games that you play, ACC network, you're part of the ACC, right? That's what I would do if I were the ACC to get them and then grab another member.
But
To,
Jim Phillips stupid. He's dumb. He don't know how to negotiate. He wants the ACC to focus mainly on basketball, be a basketball conference. When you know the football conference is what's been carrying the ACC anyway. Yeah, you got teams in the ACC that play. Okay, you had Miami 2 years ago that made it to the Final Four. They didn't do nothing last year. It's a rotating cycle with the ACC when it comes to basketball. But football, you know that there's going to be certain teams that's going to bring you revenue. Florida State, Florida State and Clemson do not want to leave. They really want more money, just like you said. But at the end of the day, you know, you gotta entice Notre Dame enough to say, hey, let's lock Notre Dame in because Notre Dame has they have their own entity and you could by getting them in, you could easily entice another team to come over there, like a West Virginia.
yeah, I'm about to say
You know
West
what I'm
Virginia
saying?
been wanting to be in the ACC, so why not bring
Exactly.
somebody who want to be here?
Exactly. So that makes more sense to me. And but like I said, Jim Phillips, them they need to fire him. Then they get somebody in there, that could really settle this whole situation. Because right now, I mean, what this been going on since over a year since last season with Florida State, and then now Clemson. And they if they say they leave and went to the SEC or the Big Ten, they ain't. I mean, who say they're gonna be successful? You more successful where you at, you know what I'm saying, than going somewhere else. It's not like you're gonna be like Oklahoma and Texas that's, great in recruiting and could go over there in the SEC and survive. Yeah, it's gonna be stiffer competition, but they have what it takes. Clemson and Florida State don't. Because look at Florida State now. Look at Clemson now. You think them going into the Big Ten or SEC, they're gonna be really in the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. And I mean, it's kind of been a sticking point for me the whole time. Like, it's got to be the money aspect because, like you said, Florida State last year, even they may not have been as undefeated if they were playing a different conference. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they didn't play the Murderers Row half, so to speak, of the ACC last year. They got it
Yeah.
this year. We got the bunny half of the schedule this year. I mean, that's just
Yeah.
how it worked out because of how teams are performing. But it's, I don't think they want to leave because when you look at the landscape, where can they go and be better?
Exactly.
And you want to be good, but you want to get the money too. I understand that, especially in today's NCAA. But
Yeah.
back to the playoff situation. Um, the fifth conference champion, they'll be seated where they're ranked or at number 12 if they're outside the top 12. So when you look at that, you could be number 12 and not get in if the fifth conference champion is number 20. They're
Yeah.
taking a spot, right? If, say, the ACC champ is like number 15, number 11 also getting kicked out. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And North Carolina, let's say it's North Carolina next, in this case, just to throw a team out there. North Carolina will hop into the top four, irregardless of if they have 3 losses. If they're the conference champion at ACC,
Yeah. And see,
that's what it is.
this is why I said this playoff system stuff should have happened 5 years ago. Should have happened.
It should have, but it took time because at one point we was at 2. You know what I'm saying? So you had to get from 2 to 4. I feel like we're gonna go from 4 to like 8.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Yeah, I mean, essentially you went to 8 and you just gave the 4 conference champions a bye with the 12. That's what you
Yeah,
really did.
yeah.
Um,
I also I felt like they should have adopted the NFL model a little bit with the playoffs ranking. I know you got conference and stuff, and But I think if you the top conference, if you win your conference, you automatic in. You know what I'm saying? And then you look at the ranking from I guess from 1 to 10 or one to 15, and then I guess you see them like that from that point on, and
Well, you got to
then
think about it. You only get 12 in, but you also got to think they kind of are doing it because you really have four major conferences instead of divisions in college football. So you put
mm-hmm,
those conference winners, i.e., division winners, top four. You're just not doing like the East and the West, which you really can't do anymore because all the teams in the West put in the conference on the East now, anyway.
mm-hmm,
And you have your top four have a bye. Then you have everybody else just play, and the higher seed is at home.
yeah,
So you're doing like I think as close as they can get right now. If they can build up like two more really strong conferences and get to like six, where you can have those six, and then the other six, and then just have them play. Right? I mean, the buy is cool, but do you really need it?
no, not really.
No, you don't really need a buy. You can get stuff done quicker without the buy. But the buy is the incentive to get the power four, because it ain't five no more, four, to agree to the playoff with no
Yeah,
problem. That's what it
thanks
is.
to thanks to the Pac-12, but they lame self.
So, all right, and then the non-conference champions that are ranked in the top four will still be seated beginning at five. So let's say you're in the SEC and say Georgia wins, Alabama's number two, right, in the final rankings. It doesn't even
Mm-hmm.
matter. You can't be higher than five,
Yeah.
right? So when I look at it, I would say to be safe, my goal would be to be a top 10 team. If I don't
Mm-hmm.
win my conference, I need to be top 10 to ensure that I have the best chance of at least being 11.
Yeah.
Because you're going to lose four spots. At least two of
I
those conference champions are going to be in the top 10, I believe. So if you can
I
be in the top 10, I think you got a good chance.
yeah, I honestly think, see, this is where the SEC be trying to be slick. They be always just trying to have the most teams in the playoffs.
Of
Yeah.
course.
And to me, I know, to me, I think the automatic lock for over there is, to me, I think it's Georgia and Texas. I think Georgia and Texas is gonna come out of the SEC. So I know that, and now what Alabama and Oklahoma do, and LSU and all of them, they do, then that's on them. But
Yeah.
if you want to knock Alabama out and keep them out the playoffs, better beat them. That's all I
Yeah.
can say.
You get them. If you get a couple of L's, I think you really are. You can lose a game, but if you don't win your conference and you got more than two L's, you're not making it.
Hmm.
I don't care what
Yeah,
conference you're in. There's no
yeah,
way you can make it.
yeah. It's no.
And then they're gonna do the 8 teams that seeded 5 through 12 are gonna play,
Hmm.
and then the higher seed is gonna be the home team. So 12 will
Yeah,
play five, 9 will play eight, 11 will play six, 10 will play seven, and then the winners of those would advance to the quarterfinals to play the top four. Um, and it's based on like probability. So whoever wins 12-5 will play the fourth seed. Whoever
yeah,
wins 9-8 will play the one seed. Whoever wins 11-6 game would play the number three seed. Whoever wins the 10-7 game will play the number two seed. Right? Then they would extend. The winners of those will go to the next round of semifinals. The winners of those two games will be in the national championship. Um, the selection committee will assign the four highest ranked conference champions to quarterfinals hosted by bowls. So those top four games, that's where you start to get the bowls into play.
hmm
And then you've got bowl commitments. So the example that they give is like the Sugar Bowl hosts a playoff quarterfinal. If the
yeah,
SEC champion is ranked number one and the Big 12 champion is ranked number three, the SEC champion would get the Sugar Bowl. the Big 12 champion would be assigned to a different bowl game.
Mhm.
Right, because you had some bowl games where certain champions would play certain champions and stuff like that. If they
So
weren't in the,
where the Rose Bowl fit in?
it's gonna all depend on who's there, right, and where they're ranked. That's how all the seeding is going to be determined, like what game is where. See what I'm saying?
I think the Rose Bowls. I think they'll still try to figure out the Rose Bowl for a Big Ten, because that the Big Ten was lined with the Rose Bowl and the
Yeah,
pack for so years. So
yeah.
they probably
So they'll probably try to do it, but then again, if the Rose Bowl has a chance to have the number 2 seed and ain't the Big Ten, maybe they want that. So it
yeah
depends on the ranking and the conference. I think they're still really figuring it out on the back
yeah
end. So I don't think that's why they haven't released all the information.
yeah. That's kind of. I think they'll probably go through this year to see how it looks, and then just start tweaking it as it is year in and year out to iron it out a little bit more.
Yeah, but
Um,
the games will be the quarterfinals is where the bowls will start. So the Verbo Fiesta Bowl, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, the Rose Bowl, and then All-State Sugar Bowl will be the quarterfinals. So those 4 bowl games will be your quarterfinals. The semifinals will be the Orange Bowl and the Cotton Bowl Classic.
mhm.
And then the national championship will be, of course, Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta this year.
Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta.
Look, I was in one of my Miami groups. They was like, "Oh, we need to go ahead and start getting tickets." So when Miami wins, when Miami gets there, we can go support the Hurricanes. I'm like, hold on now, we won one game. Calm down, calm down. We might be
They
nice. We might be nice, but we don't know yet.
they I know Nick Saban picked us against Georgia.
Yeah, Nick Saban did. Maybe he
That's
just hates
like,
Georgia though.
yeah, he probably do. So,
And then
but
next
I
year,
mean, oh, go ahead.
you know what I'm saying? 2026, the games stay the same. As far as the teams, but where they're played. So in 2026, the Cotton Bowl will be a quarterfinal, Orange Bowl will be a quarterfinal, Rose Bowl will be a quarterfinal, and the Sugar Bowl will be a quarterfinal. And this time, the Fiesta Bowl will be a semifinal, and the Peach Bowl will be a semifinal. So it looks like they're going to be rotating through. So you're going to
Okay.
have 6 games, but they'll rotate through who's the quarterfinal and who's the semifinal.
Okay. I mean,
Yeah,
that makes
so-
sense.
Yeah, I like that because it gives each bowl game a chance to be the semifinals as well, of the 6
Yeah.
that are included. And then that championship game will be at the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens, Florida in 2026.
Oh, boy. Now, that will be a homecoming for the Hurricanes for real right there.
So you got Atlanta and Miami as the first 2 championship games. That in itself, I don't care who's playing, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Mark,
Yeah.
any other thoughts? Any
Huh?
other thoughts on the playoff
I don't know.
rankings? And
Honestly, I'm excited to see how it turns out, because I've been one for years advocating for playoffs. I mean, I've been wanting to see it for the longest. Just all of these small schools, you had your TCUs, you had your Coastal Carolinas, you have all of these other schools, trying to get in the playoffs, and there's always a stipulation where they can get in, and whatever the case. Now I want to see the excitement. I want to see chaos. I want to see what some of these teams get in and what they could do. And now you can't avoid playing top teams. You know what I'm saying? You have to play a good schedule to get in. And losses do make sense now. Before it didn't really matter. Now your losses, like if Alabama get 3 losses, okay, boom, you won't be there. Say for instance, USC, they shot out the gate looking pretty okay. They have a chance, to get in the playoffs. They have a chance to make noise. Michigan, the defending champions, they still have a chance to get in the playoffs. So, I mean, it ain't gonna be an easy fight for some of these big conferences. Now, like like the ACC, you know, like Miami, they just got to take care of business throughout, game in and game out. They don't have to, they ain't got to worry about a two conference thing to deal with playing with a conference championship. They just have to win everything, win all the way up to the top. So, um, and then the Big 12, you got. I mean, I'm sure Dion trying to Colorado trying to make it, so it's gonna be interesting. Me personally, I think it's gonna be very interesting, exciting. You know, everybody cries about tradition and stuff like that. Tradition comes and goes. So, I mean, we see it in the NFL. There ain't no more tradition in the NFL. You might have rivalries in your conference, but do you think do it has that same appeal, excitement like it is years ago? No, it's a whole new landscape of football all the way around. So
I dig it. All right, so we'll transition over to new faces, well, old faces and new places. So we have a lot of teams that move conferences, major conferences, and even some of the smaller ones, right? So we're gonna
yeah,
talk about it.
yeah,
So Arizona, we're Pac-12. They moved to the Big 12.
hmm
Arizona State, same thing. They were Pac-12. They moved to the Big 12. Army, they were independent, but because they want to at least have a chance to make the playoffs, they went to the American Conference.
that
But
makes
the
sense.
conference, you had no chance. All right, Bryant was in the Big South. They moved to the CAA.
Mm.
Cal, they were in the Pac-12. They moved to the ACC. Colorado, they were in the Pac-12. They moved to the Big 12. Kennesaw State, Conference USA, they were independent. So another team to say, hey, let me get up in a conference. All right. Mercyhurst, they were PSAC D2. They
Mm.
moved to the NEC, the Northeastern Conference. Um, Merrimack, they were in the NEC, but left to be independent. And that's in the football championship series.
Mm.
Oklahoma, they were in the Big 12. They're now in the SEC. Oregon, they were in the Pac 12. Now they're in the Big 10. Robert Morris, they were in the Big South. They went to the NEC. Sacred Heart, they were in the NEC. They went to Independent, FCS.
Mm.
USC, they were in the Pac 12. Now they're in the Big 10. SMU, they were in the American Conference. Now they're in the ACC. Stanford, they were in the Pac 12. Now they're in the ACC.
Mm.
Stephen F. Austin was in the United Athletic Conference. Now they're in the Southland Conference. Texas was in the Big 12. Now they're in the SEC. You talked about it a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
UCLA was in the Pac 12. Now they're in the Big 10. Utah was in the Pac 12. Now they're in the Big 12. Washington was in the Pac 12. Now they're in the Big 10. West Georgia was in Gulf South, which is a Division II conference, and now they're in the United Athletic Conference. So they might be FCS, but at least they're D1. And then Western Illinois went from the MVFC to the Big South. So a lot of you see, except for the Pac-12, because it's just a Pac-2 now. A lot of
Yeah.
a lot of this team move, y'all come in. This team move, y'all come in. Right. Um, Unfortunately for the Pac-12, man, they got robbed. I think they can rebuild the conference.
Mm.
It'll take a couple of years and it won't be Power Five, but I think they could rebuild the Pac-12 and not have it disappear.
Yeah. As long as they
But
keep
money
on.
necessitate the moves that happen.
Yeah. I think with Oregon State and Washington State still over there, they still have a chance. But if Washington State and Oregon State leave, they just I don't know what to say then. Um,
I don't think nobody wants them though.
yeah,
That's I mean,
but
there's gonna be the same level or above where they were at.
Yeah, they might be like the American Conference. They're gonna probably be looking like the American Conference after a while.
I
I
think they
did.
can get people though. I think they can get people, but I think you just gotta look at it and say, all right, who do we not have? Who's around? What conference maybe? What can we absorb in maybe? Change to the Pac-12, get some more teams, and then add to it. So I think there's some options there for them. They won't have the
Hmm.
same sexy name recognition, but you build that once you get them in the conference.
Yeah.
Will take a few years.
I
It's
also
gonna
think
suck.
that I also think that with this realignment stuff, I there was rumors, there was rumors last year going into this year that the ACC was trying to pull away Arizona State, and Utah from over to the Big 12. I don't know how likely that it will be. I don't know if that's going to be an option, but to me, I think for the ACC, and we talked about it at the top, is that they need to find a way to get Notre Dame in. I don't think Notre Dame will want to join the Big Ten now that since they have so much powerhouses over there. USC, Washington, Michigan, Penn State. They don't probably want to deal with that because they know for a fact their chances to make a playoff is going to be very slim to none. Their best hope is to come over, and because you already got Stanford over there in the ACC already. That's they one of their rivals. Why not bring a West Virginia over there with them? Then you could have like we talked about. They already got the other sports that's in the ACC. It just makes sense to work out some kind of money, TV right deal with them, and just to say, hey, okay, our conference is intact. We got two more teams: Notre Dame, West Virginia. Then you got Stanford, Cal, and SMU over there. Boom, your conferences won't be in trouble. Then ESPN could work out a better TV deal, to give y'all more money. But right now, ESPN ain't gonna budge because they feel like there's nothing right now, and they don't feel like ACC has anything to offer. And then Jim Phillips doing reconstructed this little division thing within the ACC that is to me, I still don't understand it to this right now. But I um but I still think they need to get rid of Jim Phillips. That's the only way. The because Jim Phillips, it's just like he don't know. He just like how Brett Yormark, the Pac-10 commissioner was. They sat back and kept their foot in the mud until Brett Yormark for the Big 12 came poaching, and he took teams out and made his conference stronger to be more competitive. And they had teams on it. And then the thing about it, the ACC could have got Oregon and Washington. They had a chance to get Oregon and Washington before the Big Ten did.
Yeah, but I think the deal hurt us from getting other teams. The way our deal is constructed, I do feel there's other
Yeah,
teams that would have been like I would they consider the ACC, but when you look at the money,
and that grant of rights too.
yeah,
Yeah, I feel you on that. I ain't gonna lie, I would love to see Cincinnati with us. I like Cincinnati in our conference better than they are in the Big 12. To me, I feel like Cincinnati fits the ACC better.
yeah. Well, we're supposed to have some things working out and percolating with the Big 12 anyway.
Hmm.
So we'll see if that goes to fruition.
Talk about
That's
a
all.
merger.
I believe it's leading toward a future possible merger, but they're gonna have like I think it starts in a year or two. I was reading about it, where the ACC and the Big 12 are gonna have one of those things where teams play each other every year, kind of like the ACC Big 10 Challenge in basketball,
Yeah, yeah.
where different teams are gonna play each other every year,
Hmm.
and I think that's gonna lead to eventually some type of merger if the SEC and Big 10 continue to try to suck up the teams in.
Yeah. Because then if you merge, then you combine both conferences. You rename it to whatever it is, the Atlantic Coast, Southern, whatever, big, whatever it is. And then you had the top three. Then you able to get more teams into the playoff that way. So it makes sense, but it does make sense because you think about it, what teams in the Big 12 that's really strong? And I'm not talking about Colorado because they still growing, but you got to think Utah right now, K State, Oklahoma State, Baylor, Cincy, UCF. I mean, they kind of like they ain't. I mean, they ain't popping like that. You know what I'm saying? Unless now you bring in the ACC teams with the Florida State, Clemson, and Miami, and then you got North Carolina in the mix. Now you solidify that conference a little bit more sturdy. You know, what I'm saying with them teams. And then I think depends on how Deion don't do this sixth season. Then you could say, okay, now Colorado has, they have a latest down, and I do want to see kind of like a cross rival, with the conference. I mean, Miami used to playing everybody anyway, so it really don't make no difference to them. So they never been afraid to play any other team. So whether they was good or bad, so but it'll be interesting. Hopefully, they could get it done within another year or two. Depends. I think that everybody's just waiting to see what this playoff looks like after this year, and then they start making decisions and moves and stuff like that.
Definitely, definitely, definitely. Indubitably, and all such things. So let's get this thing moving, man. Got a lot of games to talk about. A lot of games from the past week 0 and week 1, as well as picking some games for this week. So we're gonna slide all the way back in the memory machine to Saturday, August 24th, where at the time number 10 ranked Florida State with a 3-point shocking defeat to the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. We both ACC guys. What do you think about that, Martin?
I think Florida State is going to take a. To me, I think they're going to take a really step back. I mean, they lost to Georgia Tech. They lost to Boston College. Travis Jordan can't save them this year. You got DJ Ugalady over there throwing interceptions left and right. I just hope they don't pull him with time they play Miami. um, but I mean, I think this season is going to be a really bad season for Florida State. Same with Clemson. I think Clemson, they'll survive a little bit, but I don't think they're going to be making it too much noise. But Florida State is going to have a hard for it because if Miami continues to play the way they play against Florida the rest of the season, it's going to make recruiting really hard going into next season. Miami is going to suck up all the recruits in Florida because
Hey, they was trying to do it at the game.
yeah, oh yeah. And I think one of the dudes that's pretty like I think for Florida is like one of their top people that's supposed to be recruited. If I'm not mistaken, I heard that he said that he's holding his decision right now. So it's going to be tough for Florida State, but I mean they got lucky last year. They really got lucky last year.
Until the playoffs came, and they didn't get lucky.
Yeah. So they didn't get. So I think that they escaped through some games last year. I mean, I think we had a shot, but our quarterback got hurt. But I just don't see. They might be. I don't even think they'll be a 6-win team. That's what I feel. I mean, they could be, but I don't think so.
All right, then we had Montana State beat New Mexico, and then we had our new member to the ACC SMU represent with a 5-point victory, 29-24 over Nevada. That was Saturday. All right, Sunday the 25th. Delaware State and Hawaii. Delaware State got a chance to have a vacation before they got beat, and they did get beat, but I'm sure they enjoyed being in Hawaii.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they did too. Um, I mean, Hawaii is one of them teams that, to me, that they've always been pretty all right. They had a up and down year, but um, I'll piggyback off of SMU. I think SMU with Rick Lashley over there, they got some Hurricanes over there too as well. Um, I think they're gonna be all right. I don't think they're gonna make too much noise in the SEC, but who knows? I mean, they might surprise some folks. To be honest with you, they might surprise some people in that conference. Who knows? They might be the runner up to Miami in that conference this year. You know, so I mean, it depends on. I get the well, at least I get a full look at them this time. Not on the outside. Where they was. Just to get to see what they look like under Rick Lashley a little bit more. So it's going to be telling. But I don't know. I mean, it's going to be interesting.
Oh. All right, so then we'll go to Thursday, August 29th. Murray State lost 51-0 to number 11 Missouri. Utah beat Southern Utah 49-0. Kansas destroyed Lindenwood 48-3. Number 22 Kansas. Western Carolina put up a decent showing actually against number 24 NC State.
Mm-hmm.
As far as other ranked games here, give me a second.
Yeah,
I'm trying to look for certain things, so I ain't do it. But I told y'all we talking about Colorado. Colorado 31-26 victory over North Dakota State. This is what I want to say about that game. And there was a lot of talk. Oh, they barely beat North Dakota State. Colorado's not really that good. Blah blah blah. Blah blah blah. And all that, right?
what you got to understand?
What you got to understand, man. North Dakota State is a very solid team. They're not out here just laying down for nobody. So I want you to first understand that, people. They doing their thing.
Well, there was like the Division II champs.
They're the new Appalachian State.
Yeah.
And that's what I want people to realize. They're the new Appalachian State.
Honestly, they should have beat Colorado, to be honest with you. I feel like they should have beat Colorado.
They could have, but Colorado did enough defensively at the end of that game to win it.
Yeah.
But it was definitely a 50-50, and a lot of people was praying for Colorado to lose because they don't want Coach Prime to have no success.
Mm-hmm.
But just because you pray for somebody's downfall, if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question.
Shoot.
Looking at these rankings, do you think some of these rankings are misleading? Like Kansas State at 18. They got Michigan ranked way the number 9. They got Arizona. They got Florida. They have Florida State ranked 10.
Well,
I don't know why, but
you got to think this. Week 1, your rankings are based off the combination of where you finished last year, what you added, and what conference you're in, and your expectations for this year, right? I think Florida State had good expectations coming into the season. I think it was a fair ranking for them just because where they were at last year, you expect them to have a chip on their shoulder. They got the same coach. Yeah, they lost players, but it's Florida State. They should have been in the playoffs. You feel like you could use that as a tactic to suck people in. And not saying they ain't bring people in. I think the downfall and the reason that there were questions was the quarterback. DJU hasn't really gotten it done like you expected at Clemson, where he was at last year, and so far at Florida State. They're not saying he can't turn around and be better the rest of this season because he can, but up until now, he's been a disappointment. And if you don't have good quarterback play in college, you can't really win. So I think that they expected DJU to be better at Florida State than he's looked, and that's why they had the ranking they had.
And my thing is this here. how Clemson got to be ranked 14 and Miami was ranked 19? That just don't.
Clemson has traditionally been a good school. We both Miami fans. We got to keep it a buck. Miami comes out with hype almost every year, like the last 4-5 years, and has done nothing with the hype so far.
But
Clemson
I just think they did better than Clemson last year. And I just don't see. I don't see how Clemson just was able
Well,
to
I'll say
beat.
this. I wouldn't say they did better than Clemson, but I would say Clemson didn't do any better than them. I feel like they were about the same last year.
I'll take that.
Yeah, I think they were in the same range. But I think the history of how good Clemson's been over time, you expect a bounce back from them.
Yeah.
And I think that's why they started out there. But hey, they quickly showed that they didn't belong. And that's the best part about it. If you're one of these teams that gets a much higher rank than you deserve, a couple of weeks into the season, it'll narrow itself out.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're seeing happen. And we'll see it happen probably up until about week 4, because some of the better teams are just playing cupcakes to open the season. But once they have to start playing each other and playing conference games, that's when we'll see who's really good and who's just, I can beat up on bad teams, or a team that may be expected to be good, it's not.
Yeah.
But then Friday, August 30th, number 16 Oklahoma trounced Temple 51-3. That was tough to see. If you watched it. I watched a little bit of it. All right, and then Saturday, August 31st. Here's where things got juicy. So, your aforementioned Clemson Tigers at number 14 went to Georgia. And Georgia went Trick Williams on them and whooped that Trick 34-3. And the sad part is, it looked like a cupcake game for Georgia when you look at the score. If you don't look at the team, if you just look at 34-13 Georgia, you say, oh, they played a cupcake. Then you look over, dang, I'm calling Clemson a cupcake. If you play like a cupcake, ain't you a cupcake?
Because the thing about it is that the game was pretty much, you know how they always started out a little tough, and then once the team start finding their rhythm, then you start seeing the results. And Georgia's just Georgia right now. I mean, and they had Stetson Bennett for the last few years. Now they got Carson Beck, one of the Heisman consideration guys. I still think Cam Ward gonna win it, so I'm sticking to that.
I know you do, sir. I know you do.
So, one of me and my coworkers, we have a little side bet going on. He thinks Shadour's gonna win it, and I think Cam Ward is gonna win it. So,
I'm not surprised by either of those picks.
So yeah, but I think I don't know. I just think that Georgia, until somebody's just gonna have to beat them. That's just Georgia to take the place of Alabama right now in the SEC. That's all that is. Yeah. To somebody step up.
Yeah. All right. Then we had number 2, Ohio State, with a bunny win, 52-6 versus Akron. Ain't nothing we need to say about that. That's straight bunny game. Then we had number 3, Oregon, at home against Idaho, win 24-14. They should have came out and beat them by more. You don't play Idaho and win by 10. Come on, Oregon. That's why you're not number 3 no more. Number 4, Texas, blanked Colorado State 52-0 at home.
Yeah, they went in there.
Yeah. But number 5, Alabama, had the biggest win of the weekend. Well, second biggest, 63-0 over Western Kentucky. Biggest win of the weekend. Number 6, Ole Miss, 76-0 over Furman. Then number 7, Notre Dame, the 23-13 win over number 20, Texas A&M. Notre Dame could have beat them by 40 points, bro.
Yeah,
Notre Dame could have lost that game too, because that was
trash.
Yeah.
It was trash. It was trash. It
Yeah,
was hard for me to watch it. I had to turn from it.
yeah,
I
it
was
was.
like, no.
Number 8, Penn State wins on the road in West Virginia, 34-12. Number 9, Michigan beats Fresno State 30-10 at home. 15, Tennessee with a equally impressive 69-3 win over Chattanooga. Number 17, Oklahoma State with a 44-20 home victory over South Dakota State. Number 18, Kansas State beat UT Martin 41-6 at home.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, a game I know Martin wants to have a few words about. Number 19, Miami, 41-17, handily dispersing of the Florida Gators. I know you've been waiting on this one, Martin, so I'm going to allow you your moment, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Um, I'm gonna use my more control as my microphone real quick. So like I want a sideline. Um, the Miami Hurricanes came out with stellar performance. I think what they did was to showcase that hey, we have a new team. We ain't the same Miami Hurricanes. We have a new quarterback. We have better weapons. We have a quarterback that can operate the air raid system properly than Tyler Van Dyke. Um, we have running backs that and the Welsh Walker of college football, Xavier Stripple, he comes up big every time in the clutch. And I think Miami didn't really show a lot of their team in that game. There's a lot to be desired from this team, and they haven't really opened it up yet. And I think against FM Florida A&M today, you probably will see a little bit more stuff that we didn't see the first game. The first game was a feeler. It was you was able to feel them out, you know, see what Florida was about. Just gave them enough, punch them in the mouth just enough, let them bleed. Hurricane War came in there and drowned the swamp even more. Um, but just to take away from that game, if Miami continues to play like this week in and week out, Cam Water easily win a Heisman. He'll win it easily because now you. I watched him at Washington State last year, and you know they won games, but just to see a little bit more of him close up with Miami was he was able to do something. Now he did the interception, on his backside, something that but he's a you could say I guess you could say a veteran of college football that he corrected it. Some quarterbacks can't correct that mistake. If that was Tyler Van Dyke, his head would have been down. He would have been on the sideline. Miami would have crumbled. You know what I'm saying? They probably would have let Florida came back in and found a way to win the game. But Miami stayed on it. The defense on the Miami side, yeah, they got after that quarterback. So I like the showing. I still want to, what I mean. I like to see more. You know, I don't, but I'm glad that we beat Florida. You know, the first game of the season to make a statement. They didn't take them lightly. They just anytime they was able to put points on the board, they put points on the board. And that rollout to the left and that throw on the back of the end zone to Jacoby George, that was pretty. That was nice. I like that. So, but great showing for Miami. I want to see what they do for Encore today, even though it's Florida A&M, but they can't take them lightly because you know how Miami did the last 2 seasons, took teams lightly and got the doors blown off of them. Defense do the back end of the defense do got to step up a little bit. I seen a little bit there, but like I said, it's the first game of the season, so I'm sure they corrected some stuff. They played with a little bit more intensity. So
Definitely, man. Definitely. I'm gonna simply say this about the Miami game. Relieved. I'm the guy that says, look, you've been abusing me for years, tricking me into thinking that you were going to be good and play hard, and then not doing it. So
Mm-hmm.
I love to see Miami be successful, but I'm still wary. I
Mm-hmm.
want to see about 3 or 4 games before I start to feel like, all right, maybe we got a shot this year.
Yeah.
And part of that is, like I say, it's just like being in an abusive relationship. You know what I'm saying? Beat me up, you beat me up, then you tell me, oh, I love you, I'm not going to beat you anymore, then you beat me up again. So I'm not
Oh
allowing
yeah.
nobody to beat me up emotionally this year until you show me that you love me as a fan. I am not allowing you to beat me up emotionally. So I'm
Bro.
wary, but I do feel like that game we look good, but I need to see it 3 or 4 games. You know, I need to see us do it against better talent. And I'm not worried about Cam Ward. He's not
Yeah.
the issue, but he can't throw the ball to himself. He can't block for himself, and he can't scheme for himself. You know what I'm saying? So that's where there are concerns at for me.
Yeah.
Um,
I think with Florida A&M, Ball State, before they get into the South Florida and the Virginia Tech game, the next 3 games, um, they should have a good feel of what they're trying to do. Because
and those
you,
are all winnable games.
yeah. So, and then they don't do nothing until Louisville and Florida State, and then Duke, Georgia Tech, and if Georgia Tech keep playing like they play, that's a game that could be tricky. So
Yeah,
we'll
Georgia Tech,
see.
what, 5-0 against ranked ACC teams under their current head coach.
Yeah,
So they're knocking people out, not just this year.
yeah,
It's been a pattern. All
yeah.
right, so
So, oh, go
finish
ahead.
off. I'm gonna say just finish off this week, past week, and then get to some picks. So number 21 Arizona beat New Mexico 61-39 at home, and number 25 Iowa beat Illinois 40-0. And then on Sunday, September 1st, because you know we had a Sunday game because there was no
Yeah,
NFL,
yeah.
USC at number 23, correctly picked by your boy Cool McCain, beat number 13 LSU 27-20. And then
I I wanted LSU to win that game, but I didn't even. But something just about Brian Kelly is just disturbing.
yep, and that's why I didn't pick them to win. And then Monday, September 2nd, Florida State took that second loss that you were just talking about, losing 28-13 to Boston College. So that
Mm-hmm.
ended week 1. Now week 2. And we're starting to get some games going on because, you know, we're a little bit into the week, but it's all good. So we'll start with the games on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Number 8, Penn State at home against Bowling Green. I feel confident to say we're both going with Penn State in that game.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Then we got number 17, Kansas State visiting Tulane.
The
I'm going to go.
Greenway is always they pretty tough team, but I think K State is going to be too much for them though.
Now we got a ranked number 23 Georgia Tech team playing Syracuse. I'm going with Georgia Tech.
Mm-hmm. I'm going with Georgia Tech in that game.
That boy at quarterback be running. That's a hoss.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then at 2 p.m., Georgia versus Tennessee Tech. Tennessee Tech is going to Georgia to get beat down, and they're going to get beat down.
You said Georgia going to Tennessee
No,
Tech.
Tennessee Tech is coming to Georgia to get beat down.
They should have stayed in Tennessee then.
Hey, but they got to get that money.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, they got to get that money, but it's going to be ugly.
It is. All right, and then we have number 2 Ohio State at Western Michigan. This is a 7:30 p.m. game. Definitely going Ohio State. This is Bunny Central.
Yeah.
We also got number 16 Oklahoma State hosting Arkansas. Definitely going Oklahoma State in that one. Biggest game of the week. One of 2 big games of the week. Let me see if they fixed that here. They still haven't fixed it, but one of 2 big games of the week. Number 3, Texas at number 10, Michigan. And that game's starting any minute now.
Actually, I already turned it on.
Oh, okay. Not
To
showing
be
here.
on, to be honest with you, this is a good game,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm more I ugh, I like Shamora Moore taking over for him. And Michigan is just a team that they defense is what keeps them in the game. And they played in the big house. I don't see them losing.
Yeah, I got my gut tells me Michigan. And I'll say what I said before.
And plus, Johnson, the cornerback there, he'll be a Washington Commander next year with his teammate Mike Stencil. So hey, I'm all locked in.
He pre-drafting players, y'all.
I'm already
He
drafted already.
pre-drafting players.
I'm already drafted already. So yeah, I got Michigan in a close game though.
So Alabama, number 4, hosting Southern Florida. USF will not win this game. Alabama will clean their clock.
Yeah.
Number 5, Notre Dame is hosting NIU. Another bunny game. Notre Dame is going to take care of business there. Number 6, Ole Miss is hosting Middle Tennessee.
Yeah.
The bunny train continues.
Yes, it is.
Number 7, Oregon against Boise State. I'm going to pick Oregon, but I am going to say this is going to be a tight game, and this is a 10 p.m. game, so you have to stay up late to watch this one.
Oh, yeah.
But I am going to say Oregon, but I'm going to say a very tight game.
Yeah. I think Oregon will win, but it'll be tight. So, yeah. Boise done did some upsets in the past history, so I'm not gonna take. I won't take them lightly. Oregon better come in there and be ready to roll.
Number 9, Missouri at Buffalo. Buffalo's at Missouri. Excuse me. Number 9 is hosting Buffalo. Another bunny game, Missouri.
Oh yeah. Missouri. Until Missouri stop playing in conference play, then I see them losing the game. But right now, they're getting the gift that keeps on giving.
All right, then we got number 11, Utah hosting Baylor. I'm gonna go Utah on that one.
Yeah, because I've been waiting to see a full season of Cam Rising. So I think Utah wins this game in a shootout.
Yeah, and then another bunny train game that we've already previously discussed. Number 12, Miami is hosting Florida A&M.
Oh yeah.
Miami doesn't win this game. Mario Cristobal, you on the hot seat. Period.
Boy, I know one thing. He done hire a time management consultant. He better win this game.
Right.
Because time management was not his friend last year.
Right.
So
number 13, USC against Utah State, who got beat down by Utah last week. And then beat downs this week with Southern California whooping that trip at the Coliseum. All right, number 14, Tennessee, who, if you're on NCAA.com and look at the thing, it doesn't have their number there. Somebody dropped the ball. Against number 24, NC State. To me, that's the other big matchup, a top 25 matchup. I'm going to actually straight up pull an upset here and say NC State wins this game.
Oh, yeah. Over Tennessee?
Yep.
Yeah.
In Raleigh?
Oh, yeah. NC State. I'm going to tell you one thing about NC State. I love the way they play. They play hard. They give other teams a good competitive game. They just got to get to the next level. They be on the cuffs all the time. These major upsets in games. They just need to hit that next over the hump thing. If they could get that to that over the hump, they'd be a great team to get behind in the ACC.
If you already don't have a team, if you have a team, don't be trying to jump ship. We don't do that.
Yeah. Stay where you at.
Yeah, sit down. At number 15, Oklahoma versus Houston. Again, bunny game. Oklahoma should win this with ease.
Yeah.
And we talking about bunnies. 7:30 p.m.
It's not even Easter.
Oh, dude, it gets worse. 7:30 p.m. Number 18 LSU plays Nichols.
Let me tell you something. Brian Kelly losing Nichols. He might as well. He should fire himself.
I agree.
He should fire himself.
Yeah, I agree. Number 19 Kansas is traveling to Illinois. I still don't see Illinois winning.
Kansas. Yeah. Illinois probably put up a fight, but I don't think they'll end up beating them.
Another 10 p.m. game. We got number 20 Arizona hosting Northern Arizona. So Arizona.
I think Arizona. Yeah, Arizona will win that game.
Yeah. Then we got Iowa. 21 Iowa hosting Iowa State. We're gonna go Iowa.
Yeah. You know, Iowa one of them defensive games. They really don't have an offense. They defense generate offense for them.
Oh, and then number 22 Louisville versus Jacksonville State. Definitely Louisville. But shout out to Jacksonville State for getting that 3:30 p.m. money to go to Louisville.
You're in line.
And then we got Appalachian State versus number 25 Clemson. Another upset. Yes, sir.
Upset.
Clemson has fallen off the map. Some people believe they're going to jump back, and they might. I don't.
I got App State all day on them.
Yeah, I see them looking like Miami be looking in the past. Mm-hmm. You get beat down and you just don't recover. Yeah. Or it take you a few weeks to recover. So, yeah, I'm going to pick App State. So, yeah. I'm surprised we both picked that upset. I ain't mad at it.
Yeah. Anytime I could go against the grain against Clemson, I'm happy.
Any of them bums in the ACC.
Exactly.
But yeah, man. Any last thoughts? Tell the people where to find you at, Martin, before we.
Yeah, you can always find me on YouTube, Livewire Sports Media, and you can find me on X, Livewire Sports 1. So, and you know, I'm always around on Facebook and always into Sports Wave Network. So you always can find me. I'm always popping up here and there. So,
yes, sir.
But
go ahead. Oh, go ahead, man.
Oh no, I'm good.
Okay. So, Linktree. All you gotta do is hit that Linktree. I'm not going through every single thing. We ain't got time for all that. It's all there. And if it ain't down there, it'll be all there later today. Because I am updating stuff. You feel me? But you find me and Martin, hopefully, tomorrow. Well, I won't be there tomorrow, but most Sundays on the NFL pregame report, talking everything NFL, picking games, and all that good.
So recap and look for the slate of games. So you know it's gonna be exciting. You definitely are gonna be going against the grain on some upsets tomorrow.
Oh yeah, and good people for the Sports Wave Network, for my man Martin. It's your boy Cool McCain. Y'all know how I do it over here. If you be watching me, there's two things I'm gonna tell you at the end of every show. Number one, make sure you tell 4 of your so-called friends that may or may not like you, and 4 people who don't like you, to check out Sports Wave Network and all the great products we have, and me and Martin's individual stuff as well. Because just because they don't like you doesn't mean they won't like us. And also, it is never where you start, good people. It is always where you finish. So, hey, with that being said, it's time for us to get out of here. And we're going to leave y'all like this.